Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. We are here having our weekly Monday night situation. And today we are having Money Monday. I am Kimberly of Kimberly's Conquerors, and I am super excited to be here co hosting with my dear friend, Farrah Lee Firecracker Fontaine Felix of Ferris Firecrackers. Give
All
us a
the
little
F's.
hello. I know so many F's.
All the F's. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you, Kim of Kimberly's Conquerors. And I'm just excited for the conversation we're going to have tonight. I love hanging out on Mondays. And let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, for those who don't know, before I was Kimberly of Kimberly's Conquerors, I was Kimberly of Ferris Firecrackers. So, the Firecracker organization was the unit that I was born into all those years ago. It seems like just yesterday I was a firecracker. But I have heard so many times, but I love, love, love to hear the story, Farrah, about how your journey in Mary Kay began. Like, how did you start? What were you doing when Mary Kay found you? And what were the things that you felt you were super, super good at before you even got started here?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you for asking, Kim. And it's so funny because you know how many people will say, like, I'm the least likely to start a Mary Kay business. But seriously, I was one of the least likely people to start a Mary Kay business. Okay.
Same.
Yes. When Mary Kay found me, I was practicing law. I had done all the things that you're supposed to do. I've gotten all the pieces of paper. I'm from Miami originally, and I went to the University of Miami undergrad. I then went to law school in Washington, D.C. I clerked for a federal judge. I had all the prestige. I was working for a law firm, dressing up in a suit every day, like living the dream, going to the 27th floor in downtown Miami. And I felt so grown and such an adult when I first started. And that was when I first started my professional life in 2006. And by 2008, the dream that I thought was the dream had fizzled out. And God has a sense of humor because I, at the time, was looking for something else, thinking about transitioning out of being a lawyer at a law firm and thinking about something else. And I thought the natural thing would be being at a law school, maybe being a professor. The problem is when you work at a law firm, you make this amount of money. And when you're a professor, you make, let's just say, below the screen amount of money.
I was going to say, I can't really.
You can't even see my hand. Okay? So these are all the things percolating in my mind. And around that time, it's going to be December of 2008. I get a call from my cousin, and she says, I'm so excited. I just started a Mary Kay business. Now, I had never heard of Mary Kay. I didn't know anything about Mary Kay. I was not a makeup wearer. I just barely washed my face. I wasn't that type of person. I had a vague knowledge that Mary Kay was maybe for older women, and maybe people that didn't have college degrees would do this as a business. So it was never something that I thought I would do, right? And my cousin graduated from Duke, so I was like so curious, like, okay, that sounds fun. But I knew she did love makeup, and so she seemed like the type of person that would do Mary Kay, right? But I still was not thinking in my mind, I'm going to do a business like this. So she calls me and she asks me to host a party for her, which I was happy to do. And we ended up going to meet her national sales director, which is now my and yours national sales director, Daisha Wiegand. Daisha and I had gone to high school together, which is how my cousin got into Mary Kay. So I knew Daisha very well. And I literally saw her home. I saw the pink Cadillac Escalade in the driveway. I saw plaques she had on the wall from completing Million and Mary Kay. And I didn't know what Mary Kay was about, but I knew when you know someone that has legitimately succeeded in something,
right?
I knew that it was legit, and my curiosity was piqued. And so I left her house silently deciding I'm going to be a Mary Kay consultant. That's it. Literally, I was like, if this is possible from doing Mary Kay, I'm going to be a Mary Kay consultant.
Right.
And I called my mom, and my mom quickly dissuaded me of that. But I did it anyway. and the rest is history. I think the second part of your question is, what do I think I did well? I was an extremely obedient consultant.
Mm.
What I love about Mary Kay is when you start a Mary Kay business, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. I
Thank
had a
goodness.
mentor in Daisha from day one, and I did what she told me to do. And that led to me earning my first car within 7 months, becoming a sales director, moving into the top 5% of Mary Kay within my first 3 months, top 1% of Mary Kay within my first 7 months, becoming a sales director. And I've still always been obedient since then. So that's a little bit of my journey and how I got here.
Oh my goodness. So the funny thing is that there is so much like overlap there. And then there's these ways where you and I are so distinctively different in the journey. So for me, like I too did all the things. Like I checked all the boxes. I did all of the things, like I went to undergrad. I have a bachelor's in business management. I have a master's degree in accounting and financial IT. I sat for the CPA exam and passed it. I worked in corporate finance for years and years and years and years and years. And I never knew that December 2008 was when your cousin came down and asked you for the party. So here's what's funny. In December of 2008, I went to work one day thinking these people are going to create a position for me because I just did something really amazing. And what happened was I went to work that day and they were like, ooh, yeah. So we need to do a reduction in force. Turns out the economy is in the toilet and thanks for coming. Please leave.
Wow, December 2008. What was in orbit around
It was
then?
something in the air. There was something in the air in addition to
Oh, I didn't
the
know that.
economy.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I found myself for the first time ever without a job. And I was, a fish out of water. I literally never not had a job since I was like 13 years old. So having already spent a great deal of time after college and even graduate school, I guess, having spent a great deal of time revisiting my artistic kind of background, my baseline, all the arts education people were like, ooh, come do this residency. Ooh, come teach this workshop. Ooh, come do this thing. And I was like, ooh, you guys, I don't want to commit to this 5-week program because my real job's coming. And I kept kind of pushing the people off and pushing them off and pushing them off. And after a few months, I was like, it kind of seems like I should go work for the people who want me instead of trying to work for the people who were like, your resume is awesome. You have so much experience. We went with the other person. It wasn't that fun. So that was my first career change. And I think that I officially kind of broke the seal on that somewhere mid to late 2009. So happily just doing that, feeling as though I had found my passion, really working in my gifts. And then, dun, 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 COVID. So as a person who works great big gigantic job, largely managing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students who are in the performing arts, at their schools or after school or however, it works for them. Doing those concerts and stuff on Zoom, like it was a full body experience. And I was flexing muscles that I either didn't know I had or that was like, yeah, I didn't sign up for this. This is not what this is supposed to be, Zoom concerts. And so I knew, having gone through that reduction in force in 2008, I knew that I needed to start thinking about a second source of income. And I thought about it probably 3 to 5 minutes a day and then enjoyed my couch and my pajamas and my paycheck and my Zoom concerts. And my dear friend, my oldest friend, invited me to come on to a Zoom. I knew she did Mary Kay, and I knew she did Mary Kay, and I assumed that she was involved with Mary Kay because it was a way for her to meet people. Like she's always been a person who did networking events, where I was always the person and still am the person that's like, networking. Why would anybody want to do that? Stand around and talk to strangers? Hard pass. So I came onto the Zoom and I watched you, Farah, teach the skincare class. And literally the whole time that I was sitting there, I was thinking, she's really good at this. I could do that, but she is really good at this. I could do that. Having never wanted to do anything to do with anything sales related. I mean, ever. And really, like, where in the world do you find the time? I have a humongous job. But I just took a chance on myself. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I needed the second source of income. God dropped this Zoom in my lap and I showed up kicking and screaming. And by the time it was all over with, I was a Mary Kay beauty consultant. Now, where our journeys kind of take a turn is because you came to the party as a person who was already very obedient. I came to the party as a person who always wants to break the rules and thinks that my way is the best way. And so, as you know, I did it my way in the beginning. And what I love about the fact that we as consultants are in business for ourselves and never by ourselves is that when I realized that my way was not, in fact, the way, that you, Farah, as my director, that you were still there to say, okay, no problem. Let's go ahead and try it a different way. Did you want to maybe try it the way that it's been going for like 50 plus, almost 60 years? Did you want to maybe give that a shot? And I was like, I mean, I guess, like, we'll see how it works. So, as it turns out, it works. And what I know that I brought to the party that wasn't the obedience that you have, what I know that I brought to the party was that because I'm a performer and because I'm a leader in my other job, I have no problem standing in front of people and teaching and talking. It's what I do. Having to learn all the rest of it was kind of like, whoa. But I know I can stand in front of someone and confidently talk. So that was pretty cool. I guess, like, if I had to go back and change something from the beginning of my journey, it would probably be following at least some of the instructions from the beginning. Just a few.
Well, I wouldn't change that because I think I grew as a leader in leading you. Right. And so I'm grateful for that because every single person helps me grow as a leader. And learning to navigate different personality styles and respect how people come in and where they're at any given moment and navigate through that is one of the things I appreciate most about my Mary Kay business. The leadership skills, the people skills that I've gained through that have served me in every facet of my life. So absolutely. I wouldn't go back and change the way you started because I grew my leadership skills through learning how to coach and teach and work and lead with you.
Well, thanks. Together we are better, right? We are so much stronger when we are together. I mean, I guess I have to acknowledge that, like, my grow up in and through this business has been major. There's a fearlessness about me that I never felt that I possessed before. And having been the kind of person who reads every single detail and every single word of every single thing all the time and has to know all the ins and outs in the beginning, the middle, and the end, there is a part of me now that clicks on that says, you know what? Doing something and getting something done is better than having something be perfect, where perfection might not even really be the proper outcome. What I perceive as perfection. So that's one of the ways that I feel like I have really, really grown, and certainly around people skills, without question, just understanding how people who are not like me need to receive information or need to feel affirmed or any of the other things. That has been major. And who knew? I didn't even know I needed that. I thought, like, I had checked that box already. Turns out there's always room to grow.
I love that. I love that you said that too. And my gifting is not necessarily in the details. So working with those of you who have that gifting has been so helpful, right? Okay, so we were trying not to show this, but I'm doing this with a baby on my lap, you guys. Yay. And so this is real life and this is live. So
It's true.
baby is here and she was being perfectly happy until we all started the conversation. So
Yes.
Kim, let's continue the conversation.
She wants to be so included, Vera. And you know what's been so cool for me in just almost 4 short years? I have watched you excel and thrive at your business as a single woman, a single homeowner, where Mary Kay is your primary gig. And then your seasons of life with changing and aging parents and getting married. And then being pregnant and knowing that that wasn't necessarily always a picture perfect journey. There was a lot of sitting still, and I know that's not really your jam. And now to watch you work your business with a baby on your lap, and you tried to make it through this whole thing without showing us the baby. And I'm so glad that she showed up, because that's so real. You can still do this, and she is right there. That's real life. Love that.
And when I started my business back then, one of my goals and why I knew I wanted to leave the law firm and even the law school later was because I knew I wouldn't be able to raise my kids this hands on as I wanted to, right? People
Yeah.
start Mary Kay businesses for different reasons. Some people start Mary Kay, and more kudos to you, because they're like, hey, I need to leave my kids in daycare. I need to have the money to leave them in daycare or hire a babysitter. And that's part of it too. I'm grateful for it giving me the opportunity to have flexibility for how much childcare I want in and out. So that's been such a blessing. But in order to be what I wanted to be and have the time that I wanted to have with my child, for me, in the jobs that I worked in corporate America, it was not going to be possible. Right. As a lawyer at a law firm, or even later on at the law school. So even though the baby just made an appearance when she wasn't supposed to, it's still, I'm living my dream right now. And Mary Kay is a huge part of what has allowed me to do that.
Yes. Yeah, I get that. This is the part of my world at the moment that brings me so much joy. And I have to say that I'm so glad that I just said yes. You know what I mean? Like the day that I said yes, it was one of those rare moments where I didn't overthink it. I didn't talk it over with anybody. I didn't do a whole lot of the ins and outs that I usually do before I make a decision. Now, certainly the next day I woke up like, okay, so here's how this is going to go. I'm not telling anybody that I do this, because I was afraid that people would judge me or like look at me sideways. Like, I have a million degrees. I have a gigantic job. I wore makeup, but I would put on the bare minimum. Like, a lot of people hear me talk about like the makeup look that's like, oh, an attempt was made. That was me on a fancy day. An attempt was made. On a regular day, it was like, for what? I'm cute. Like, why would I need to? Yeah, I'm not doing that. That seems like too much work. And I was just terrified to tell anybody that this was a choice that I had made, or even why or how I landed at this decision. So getting past that fear on the front end was major, because I just didn't want anybody to know.
Listen, Kim, I think that's so normal for every one of us, right? No
Yeah.
matter where you at, unless your mom is a Mary Kay consultant, like maybe my daughter
Yeah.
will say I grew up and wanted to be a Mary Kay consultant. I don't think there's that many people that was their little girl dream. But it does like allow you. Maybe your little girl dream was, I want to figure out how I can play with makeup. Maybe your little girl dream was, I want to figure out how I can lead others. Maybe your little girl dream was, I want to empower women. I'm really into female empowerment and supporting people. And so I think Mary Kay can be all of those things, but it definitely is scary in the beginning. And, I think for me, just falling in love with the products.
Yes.
Was really key, right? And so I always tell people, you're on here, you're listening. I'm assuming that you have enjoyed our products, or if you haven't, I definitely recommend that you connect with your brand ambassador to experience them, because falling in love with the products will give you such a sense of pride in the products and in the business. And then getting to know more and more women. One of the other things that I've loved is just the caliber of women you're around on a
Yeah.
regular basis in Mary Kay. That helps me overcome some of those levels of fears when
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, if she can, I can. And guess what?
Mhm.
She's going to help me do it too.
Every
And
time.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, Farah. As I was talking about that, I was thinking, oh my gosh, how fortunate are we that we are just surrounded by people who are in all walks of life, who are committed not only to our own businesses, but committed to supporting one another and lifting one another up and helping one another. Like, it's amazing. It's the most amazing girl tribe I've ever heard of, because I've always rejected the kind of girl tribe model, that's never really been my jam. So yeah, loving it. Farah, I am absolutely delighted to have had a chance to have this conversation with you. I'm so glad that the Conquerors and the Firecrackers are starting to do more things together, because again, together we are better. So this Monday night and every Monday night, there is always something happening right here where you are watching. Check in with your beauty consultant to kind of figure out, like, hey, how can I plug in even more, right? And if you heard something here that piqued your interest, give your beauty consultant a call, shoot her a text. It doesn't mean that she's gonna reach out and snatch you into our wonderful, awesome, amazing pink bubble without your consent, but she would love to be able to answer any questions or tell you, like, yeah, oh, you didn't realize this and that. Yeah, that's true. We love talking about what we do, and we love it when more of our friends and our families and our coworkers and our customers decide that they want to come join us too. The more, the merrier. So, thanks for spending your Monday with us. We are signing off. Kimberly of Kimberly's Conquerors, and
Sarah Ferris Firecrackers.
you guys are beautiful and amazing, and we can't wait to hang out with you next Monday.
Powerful and